Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Dharma Time here on WPSN99.com. As always, I am your host, the Dharma Guy, and I'm joined with, there he is, the Dope Doctor. What's up, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm exhausted, man. Are you exhausted?
I'm very tired.
Yeah, man. I'm just exhausted. I'm a little bit sleepy because I just haven't been sleeping well lately for whatever reason. There's been a lot of drama happening in the house and just in life in
Oh,
general. Like, I'm just exhausted lately, man. You know what I need? I need a good vacation. Which reminds me, I'm going to remind you yet again, February of 2022, your presence is requested in Jackson Hole. I
yeah.
shouldn't. I know you got a wedding to take care of, but I still think you can pull them both off. I think you can. You're the one
Think
percent,
so.
dude. You can afford it all. Man. You just matter of fact, you can afford to take care of the trip for everybody that's going. Why don't you just do that too?
Okay.
Anyways, so today, thank you guys for tuning in. Obviously, right now you're listening to Dharma Time, the show that kind of tries to take a spiritual approach to things. If you're watching live on Facebook today, that would be facebook.com/WPSN99. That's where we do all of our live stuff, and that way we can interact with you guys back and forth. You can ask questions, comments, things of that nature. And so normally after the scheduled programming, we'll do our other shows afterwards. Today is normally going to be the sports show the morning after with Dope and Dharma. We're going to still do that today. However, because it is actually election day, if you're watching this live, it is November 3rd. We kind of feel obligated to have a political show as well, We the Middle. And so
Yeah.
tune in, we'll have that directly after Dharma Time today. We'll probably still have the We the Middle on Friday as well, because it'll be post-election at that point. But we just felt, we felt, why not, man? Today's actually election day, so why not talk about what's going on, what we see. So
All right.
before we get to either one of those shows, let's go ahead and talk about Dharma Time, what we're going to discuss today. So today's show is Flip the Script. And somebody, I don't know who it was, but somebody on my timeline I saw posted something about how 2020 is actually a great year. And they listed all the reasons why. And I remember seeing that, thinking to myself, like, you know what? They're right. You know, like, yes, it's very tempting and very easy to look at 2020 as a dumpster fire and be joined with a plethora of people who all agree that this has been a dumpster fire. Between the whole COVID crisis happening, between all the protest / rioting that's been happening, the racial tension that's been building amongst many communities within our country, the political standoff that's been happening between red and blue, as well as those in the middle, I guess. It's been a crazy year. It's been insane. A lot of things have not.
Hurricanes, fires.
Yeah, there's been like 28 hurricanes or something. The fires are ravaging places. It's been crazy. And it has absolutely not lived up to certain individuals' expectations, right? But, as with life in general, we got to be very careful in having these expectations and deciding the positive or negative aspect of something based upon how it lived up to our expectations, right? We got to be careful doing that, and I don't think this is any different. So, while it's easy to get caught up in all the vitriol of it all, I'm going to take the opposite stance. I'm going to say, you know what? 2020 has been a pretty good year. First and foremost, I can make the argument that any year we're able to see is a great year, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we're alive, so by definition, it's kind of a good thing. But also, I think that with all of this craziness, it has pulled some communities together, right? I mean, look what as a country, look at what we've been able to survive. Look at what we've overcome. Look at what we've adapted to, and have made it, right? Like, because life isn't always just, butterfly kisses and rainbows. Sometimes life is going to throw you some curveballs. Sometimes,
Butterfly kisses and rainbows.
yes. Sometimes life is going to throw you some shitty moments, man. Right? I mean, it's kind of what this show's all about, is learning how to deal with those shitty moments in a skillful way.
Yeah.
What better opportunity than the whole year of 2020? We've had numerous different things that are trying our patience and trying our values and things of that nature. And I think that for the most part, we're coming through the other end. I really do. We're still here. My family's still intact. Your family's still intact. We've made it. 2020 is not over yet, but I have no reason to believe that we're not going to make it. So I think for that, the person was right, man. 2020 has actually been a good year. It's another year that we saw, and it's another year that we survived, and we made it through. We managed to overcome a lot of adversity, and I don't think the adversity is over, right? I mean, we still have the busiest month for hurricanes. We have an election today, which we will talk about on our next show, We the Middle, and the results of that election, be it they come today or in the next couple of weeks, is bound to create a lot of disdain amongst people. But I think that too we will overcome. So what are your thoughts, man? Because you and I talked about it briefly, heading into this. And we kind of both agreed that was a very interesting take on things that neither one of us really spent a lot of time thinking about.
Yeah, I like it. I like focus on the positivity rather than the negative. I mean, the problems are easy to spot, right? It's almost the way so much of our television is dominated right now by it. It's real easy to single out or focus on things that have already happened that you didn't have to do anything about, that you didn't have to change, or that you're not responsible for. But when you're now responsible for it, which is really now, everybody's today, right? You're responsible for how you interpret everything that has occurred. Now, you can let them take you down this negative emotion and sit in it and think that the sky's falling and that the world is ending, or you can choose to embrace the fact that a lot of people did lose their lives this past year, and yet you haven't. You are alive. Therefore, do you not owe it to the real memory of them to embrace it and love it, rather than sit there and now make yourself act as if you too lost your life? Because you didn't. I mean, clearly you're listening to this or you're watching this. And then there's the family thing, right? There's so many of us that we're able to spend time with certain family members that we wouldn't have had that opportunity. For instance, where I lost a lot of time with my parents because I didn't even touch my parents for it feels like a year. It was horrible. Like I am cheating now. I'm kissing them on the cheek right now. I hold my breath and I think they do. I don't know. But we cheat now. But for a year, or it feels like it, I wouldn't even touch them or hug them.
Right.
So that's time lost. But then let's focus on the other. My youngest daughter, Zoe, was around more because she didn't go off to college. So we had just visited her dorm. We were just about to pay for the dorm, and then can't go in. It's all online. So therefore, she's been doing school online, and we've had her here for an extra 6 months or whatever. So.
And you guys started cooking together, right? Wasn't that during the this ordeal?
Yep. We started cooking together. We started doing, we started doing things together and spending more time together that we just didn't do.
Right.
And the reason I'm embracing it more is because I know it's over, right? I know that this time of my life is over, where my daughters are now both gone, right? But while this youngest one is still here, she just turned 19. November 1st, so happy birthday, Zoe.
Happy birthday.
So as much as she'd like to be gone right now or be out, she's not, and I'm embracing every moment of it because, once they leave, they just don't come back, Trinity. They don't come back to live at home.
Well, if they do, that means something's a problem. Yeah.
Or there's a problem, yeah. So I liked it that somebody on your timeline took advantage of it. This is actually a very cool year. Because it was a good year of learning a lot about yourself, about your family members, about the world around you, and hopefully you made the best use out of it. Now, on the political show, we'll talk about whether people are going to be crying again or happy. One side will be crying.
Of course.
This is the way it's going to be from now on. So We the Middle, a regular show from now on.
Well, and Richard just asked. Richard, you're just tuning in late. You asked what the show is about today. So today we're doing Dharma Time. The show is about kind of a different take on this year, meaning everybody just wants to throw their hands up in the air and say 2020 was such a horrible year, and we're saying, based upon perspective, maybe it really wasn't. It helped us understand that we all collectively can overcome adversity and still be whole. And then, as he just alluded to, right after this show's over, we're going to go into the We the Middle, which is our political show. And then, obviously, we'll talk about politics on that show today.
Right.
But here on Dharma Time, still focused on the kind of just altering our perspective. Because as I said at the top of the show, it is, man. It's just negativity is such an easy slide to get on, right? And I say slide because it's just once you step on it, it just it takes off. Once you start focus on the negativity and the bad things in life, or I say bad things, the things that just didn't, equal to your expectations. Gosh, dude, it goes so fast, right? Like you could just make one comment. Next thing you know, 3 hours later, you've complained about everything in your life that you don't like. Anybody around you is all joined in. You get this entire just huge atmosphere of negativity and BS all happening, all because of just one or two comments that you made. And then it just snowballs, right? And so I think 2020 has been that way. I think some things happened that were definitely not conducive to what we would all want. And then somebody somewhere started the process of saying, screw 2020, it's a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And then it just caught on. And then next thing you know, that's just the sentiment that we all have. And then that one person who posted, hey, it's actually a pretty good year. You know what? You're right. It is a pretty good year. Go ahead.
No, I'm going to say, you're absolutely right, Trini. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's exactly true. Is that's exactly what happened, right? Like with some of these issues that we've had. Fires and hurricanes, obviously, it's out of everyone's control pretty much. The fires did have some people's control, but once you lit that fire, you can't control it. And I think the same thing happened with a lot of the negativity that people felt, right? Once the media got involved in certain topics, the way they chose to get involved, and once certain personalities out there got involved in the topics of the day, and once people started choosing sides, that also, now you can't stop it. Now it blew up into what it blown up, right? So I like that we're choosing to flip the script. And by the way, Richard, I would like to say yes to that.
Yeah, I'm sure we can get you on the political show, man.
On the flip the script part, I'd like to say, well, let's focus on what you did embrace in 2020. Because I guarantee no matter what happened in 2020, you're not going to forget it.
No.
This is a very memorable year. I don't care who you are. I don't know anybody, Trinity, that this didn't affect somehow.
Yeah. Well, while you're talking, I found the actual thing. So let me put that up so people know what we're talking about, what sprung all this. So I put it up on the show. It's covered both of our faces at the moment. And it says, plot twist, 2020 has actually been the best year of your life. You've faced challenge after challenge, you've adapted, and you've overcome. 2020 has forced you to grow exponentially. Don't take that for granted. That was the thing that set it all off for me personally. When I saw that, I was just like, I screenshotted it and saved it in my phone because I was like, you know what, you're right. How easy it is to get lost, right? How easy it is to just get wrapped up in negativity, and that's not just for the year 2020, right? That's for anything, no matter what it is.
Right.
We've joked, countless times. You can go to any bar and start complaining about your significant other, and the entire bar will all be with you within minutes, talking about, and then another thing. Right, so it's so easy, no matter what it is, to get so caught up in the things that you deem as negative that it's so hard to then remember that overwhelmingly it's been positive, right? Like, even the hurricanes and stuff, right? Like, if you're not directly impacted by the hurricane, because I'm not talking to you, if you lost your house and stuff, I get it. But if you're in a different part of the country, the hurricanes didn't really impact you, and so you almost can't even count those, other than empathy for the world, right? And
it's almost a sad thing, right? That's kind of the sad thing. The fact if you're where those hurricanes have been hitting, the last thing you're doing is watching this.
Exactly.
You're just happy your electricity's back on.
Of course.
You got water. The last thing you're doing is watching this. But everybody else they've forgotten that you even got hit by a hurricane.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
It's true.
If you weren't impacted, you're like on with your daily life. You just forgot all about New Orleans, and Louisiana, all the other parts.
So it goes back to reminds me of conversations I have with my little ones when I pick them up from school. Every time I pick them up from school, it's, how was your day? What did you learn today, right? And when I ask them, how was your day, they used to always tell me something would happen in their day, and they'd be like, well, I had a bad day. I'm like, why'd you have a bad day? And they would proceed to tell me this like 2-minute blurb that happened in their day. And I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like you had a bad day. It sounds like you had a bad moment within that day. It sounds like the overwhelming majority of your day was fine. It just had one moment, and that's all you seem to be fixated on. So even what my point with all the hurricane talk was, even in 2020, the majority of your 2020 was actually probably the same as most other days, most of the years. You had some occurrences take place, but it wasn't like January 1st kicked off and it was just an onslaught of just terrible stuff all day, every. No, we've had a few isolated instances, most of which didn't impact everybody in the U.S. In certain segments it did. But we just decided to own them and just say 2020 was horrible. And I agree with the post. I'm not ready to call 2020 horrible. I've had a great
Eh,
2020.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to say I've really enjoyed my 2020,
Yeah,
and just like Rick say, besides COVID, COVID is what sparked it all up, by the way, and not any of that other stuff. COVID did spark it all up because without minus COVID, we went into 2020. I mean, there was. I mean, the political stuff was already going on,
sure.
but but at the same time, everybody's making money and everybody was doing well, and that's why you're able to complain about those kinds of things, right? Because when everybody has a job and everybody has money and everybody's doing well, you complain about whatever you can complain. You make up shit to complain
Yeah,
about, because your life is that good. And then we all got this same enemy, right? This COVID-19 enemy, but as soon as we started focusing on it as the same enemy, we realized, wait a minute, but we're supposed to be arguing about something. So
right.
you know what? No, I don't like the way you're looking at that. And so we
Yeah,
started arguing about the same enemy, just
yep.
because we had remembered we were arguing. So instead of COVID-19 uniting us, no, we use that as a tool as well. And the whole time this virus has been laughing at us, man. It's just been kicking our butt. But COVID-19, I'm going to laugh at you because at the end of the day, up to this point, I'm able to say this. I know I'm able to say this because neither of my direct family members have been, I guess, none of them have died from your attack.
Right.
So I can say this right now, but COVID-19, you've actually opened our eyes to a lot of things, and you allowed us to spend some time with my little Zoe that we wouldn't have normally had. And that's awesome. But also in 2020, my oldest daughter bought a house. My oldest daughter got engaged. We got a new house. It's right at the end of not 2019, but 2020 is what I really call it. Trinity, we've been able to just experience a lot of new things together as a family. We spent a lot of time together. I'm sure you did too. We played all kinds of games. We did all kinds of things when we were all hunkered down those first few months where nobody knew what the hell was going on. It was almost as if there was radioactivity outside, and you were like, we better stay inside. Now I don't think, even though it's still out there, people aren't afraid of it. Like, I mean, it's really, if it wasn't being used politically, people would not even be indoors at all. We wouldn't even be wearing masks right now.
Probably not.
I'm certain about that.
Probably
I'm
not.
certain of because the way people are acting. I mean, the Walmart's completely full. Um, so unless all the people that I see out there are only of one political party, everybody else is full of shit.
Right. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think that things would be much different right now if there wasn't the political aspect to it.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
I
the
don't know, man.
unemployment sucks. You know what I mean? That's the thing, right, Trinity? Here's the sad thing: is that the unemployment thing sucks. But here's the take on this. Let's flip the script on some of that. Some of you have been wanting to change your job or change your profession anyway. Now, I'm not talking to those of you that didn't. I'm going to speak directly to those individuals out there that were thinking, I don't really like this job. I don't like where I work. It sucks. It's a do good nowhere job. Well, if you were able to work that do good nowhere job during this entire time period, then that was actually a pretty awesome job that you had, isn't it? Now, if you lost it, well, then it was a great opportunity to maybe retrain your brain, retrain yourself, and go seek out a new one when this is all over. So there's a lot of little things that you can actively do to flip that script and say, how am I going to go into 2021 now? Knowing that virus is still out there. By the way, it's always going to be out there now.
Yeah,
So that virus is still out there.
and there's
It's not
another
going
one
to end.
probably warming up.
Right. It's not going to end just because it's November 3rd. Now, granted, I think that as soon as if there is a change in our leadership, there'll be a dramatic change in the way you're being given information. You won't be
We'll cover that
like,
in the next show.
I know, I'm just saying, you don't be scared of it. But if you want to flip the script, you could start right now before that and just say, listen, I'm going to go into 2021 like this. There's still Thanksgiving to be had. They canceled our Halloween. I still saw a lot of you celebrate Halloween. Good for you. They're trying to cancel our Thanksgiving. They're not going to cancel your Thanksgiving. You do what you got to do to have your Thanksgiving, man. You give thanks. You give your blessings. We still got football on Thanksgiving, right? And then we'll cover that also in another show. We'll cover that on on the sports show later. And then Christmas. I know it's going to be different for so many of you. So many of you have lost a loved one through this whole COVID-19 thing. But again, we have to carry on and we have to have a Christmas and make it special. So hopefully everybody goes out and puts lights. I've already seen so many people put the Christmas trees up and put Christmas stuff up because that's the way we're going to beat the hell out of this 2020. We're going to bring 2021 closer sooner. We're going to put our lights up. We're going to put our trees up. We're going to get together as a family and friends, and we're going to celebrate this holiday season. That's how we kick its butt, Trinity, and that's how we go into 2020. That's what I say.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that we it's easy to forget how resilient we are as a country, right? Like we are very much pull yourself up by your bootstrap kind of a country. Like we have our moments, like everybody, but eventually we pull our head out of our ass typically, and we move forward.
Right.
I've seen it happen numerous times. We've had many different crises, but you know what? We're still here. And so those people out there, the Chicken Littles of the world, saying the sky is falling right now. No, it's not. I don't care who wins tonight. It doesn't matter. Our country's still going to be here 4 years from now. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You're just going to have 4 years of either the same thing we've been having or somebody else's problems. At the end of the day, the country's still going to be here. We're not going anywhere. And I think that's what we have to keep in mind. We have to keep in mind that it's going to be okay. What's meant to happen always does. No matter what it is, what's meant to happen is what's happening. It's our job to kind of let go of control of that and just let it be what it's going to be.
Right. There's no savior, no demon.
Yeah,
It just is what it is.
well, and the other thing is we have checks and balances in place for a reason, and that's what makes this country great. Is no one particular avenue controls everything, and so we're going to be fine. We're going to be just fine. I don't know, man. I'm really fixated on our next show. If I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's we're going to have a Christmas without.
You got to put that up, man. You got to put that up because we can't react to a post and then not.
All right, this is what Richard just put up. He says we're going to have a Christmas collide with COVID, and he capitalized Christ as in Christ. But anyways,
He capitalized Christ. He capitalized Christ, Dharma Guy.
well, it's Christmas, not Christmas. So
Well, that's because Christmas sounds funny.
Richard says I respectfully disagree that it doesn't matter who wins tonight. We'll cover that one in the next show, man, for sure.
Yeah. Dude, it's so hard not to go into.
And that's what I'm saying. It's where
Let's flip that script. Let's do our best flipping the script now, so we can get right to that show, Trinity.
Sure, we could do that. All right. So, any last words you want to say on flipping the script for 2020, man? This is a short and sweet Dharma time today.
Well, that's right. Well, it's been almost a half hour. Here's the thing, people. The point is that how many times have you heard the Dharma Guy talk about perspective? How many shows have we done where we tell you that it's all a matter of perspective, what side you're on? Well, this is no different. If you want to flip the script, whatever way you're looking at life right now, whatever way you're looking at 2020, whatever way that you're crawling into or you're running into or you're strolling into the end of this year and enjoying this holiday season, I'm begging you to enjoy it. I don't care who and what you are. I'm begging you to enjoy it. Flip the damn script. We've had so much negativity. They have been controlling our minds, man, on social media, on the news. They've been telling us the sky's falling. Both sides have been doing this. So, and I'm going to say two sides. You know damn well who I'm talking about. Both sides have been saying the sky's falling. One is saying the sky's already falling. The other one says if you let them in, the sky's going to fall. Either way, the sky is not falling. The sky's not falling. And here's what's more important. Think about the time you got to spend with the loved ones, and look how much more precious you look at life. Hopefully, you've called people that you never thought it was that important to talk to them as often as you did. Hopefully, you spend time with the people that you love, or you know how valuable that time is when you do spend it. Hopefully, you've done something so cool during this COVID-19, during this 2020 that was like, man, I hadn't done that in years, or I never did that with my kids, or I forgot just how cool this was, or I forgot how fun this was, or I forgot how creative we could actually be as a family. So many of you have done some really cool things. And I think, Trinity, we started seeing that with Halloween, because in Halloween, I saw some people that they got creative again with how they did Halloween. And I saw some of you actually celebrate Halloween. And it was so cool to actually see some kids that were able to have a Halloween and have bags full of candy. Now, that didn't happen in my area. Nobody knocked on our door.
Mine either.
So, but then again, I live in a place where we just don't have a lot of kids around. But hopefully you had somebody knock on your door. Hopefully you were able to give them like a little Snickers or something like that. Don't give them that little corn stuff. What are those little corn things?
Candy corn? Ugh.
But don't give them candy corn. Don't ever buy candy corn. That's ridiculous. Flip the script on that. Get them Snickers bar because everybody likes a Snickers bar, some Blow Pops or some Jolly Ranchers and shit like that. But the point is that we're going to go into this holiday season. Let's embrace it. You know what? Usually at this point in time, we're saying, hey, it's too early. Oh, we don't like when they start celebrating Christmas too early. Let's get through Halloween first. Let's get through Thanksgiving first. But this year, screw all that. Let's just go right to freaking Christmas, man. I'm telling everybody, let's just go right to Christmas. Let's start jingle belling. Let's start ho-hoing. Let's start throwing the white powder all in the air, and you can take all that however you wish. I'm sure you can make fun of everything, every single thing I just said. But the point is let's start Christmas early, and that's how I'm gonna flip the script. I'm fixing to go buy some Christmas lights, damn it, Trinity. I'm fixing to put the Christmas tree up, and Dana's gonna come home and she's going, "What the hell did you do? What did you and Trinity talk about today? That all of a sudden the Christmas tree's up." Now we know I'm lying because we know damn well I never do that all by myself. Anyway, man, thank you.
Yeah, I would kind of just echo a lot of that same thing, man. When it comes to flipping the script, just as with anything in life, be cautious in taking such a narrow viewpoint on anything. Nothing is all good. Nothing is all bad. There's good and bad in everything. And remember, the only reason why you typically deem something as good or bad is whether or not it relates, how it relates to your expectations. If your expectations were met, you typically say it was good. If your expectations weren't met, you typically say it was bad. And if that's the only deciding factor, then it has to do more with your expectations than the event itself. So for 2020, man, if you're listening to this, I think you've had a good year. You're alive. You've learned how to adapt and overcome certain things. You've probably done some internal growth this year. You've seen the people around you grow or not, and you've learned how to distance yourself from toxic individuals. Either way, man, there's been some positive growth and some cool things happen this year. Let's not let COVID or even the political war win, right? Let's not let them take over and dictate to us that this has been a whole dumpster fire the entire year. There's been some good things happening, and I know that there's been some babies born this year. There's been some marriages that are started. There's been some businesses that have started. There's been a lot of positive and progressive type of things that have started this year. And I don't want to just discount all those things because a couple of things didn't go the way I think they should. So for that, I think that's all we got. I'm going to go ahead and run the outro. For those of you who are watching live, stick around. We're getting ready to go into We the Middle, which is our political show, which is the one I think we've all been kind of waiting on for today anyways, mainly because it's, today's election day. So, and for those of you who are watching on YouTube or something or listening to this on the podcast, that's it for Dharma Time. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you follow us on social media. He is at The Dope Doctor. I am at The Dharma Guy. We are at WPSN99. And you can also check us out at Now Matters More. But that's all I got. See you guys on the other side of this break. Until then, peace. Are you still here? What are you doing? I told you, go do better.